I really don't know what I would do if I didn't have some work that I had to get to.
Hello. This is Shirley Crawford, the owner of Second Chance Consulting and the executive director of the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn, coming to you with another episode of WorkHARDAholics. So for me, it's another Sunday afternoon. For you, I don't know what it is, because you can watch this anytime. It's the power of the replay. Alrighty then. So let's get this party started. Alright, I just keep thinking, let's get it started. Okay, sorry, it's Sunday and it's been a busy week. I got a different vibe today. Walk with me, people, as we take this journey together. Alrighty then. So as always, I like to start with the word for the week. So for you Anglophiles and all that good stuff, yeah, love words. Words are great. Words are amazing. So here is the thing. When I was thinking about the word for this week, I've really been thinking about the fact that with everything that's been happening with COVID-19 and people working remotely, and so there's a lot of people who are being demanded to do a lot of things all at once. And the term for that is multitask. Multitasking, or it's called how to stay sane. Take your pick. And so there are lots of you who are watching the kids, doing the work, taking the phone calls, on the conference calls, zooming away. That's a great place to have stock right now. I'm just saying. You're doing all kinds of things all at the same time. And here's the thing that I find interesting, like muy interesante. Historically speaking, there are all these studies. So the word for the week is multitask, in case you didn't catch that. And so it means to be able to do more than one thing at the same time. And the part that I find so interesting is that there have been like several studies, and they'll say that multitasking doesn't actually happen. That what happens is that you have a forefront task and a background or back front. Interesting. You have a task happening in the forefront of your mind and then in the background of your mind. There are different tasks happening. And so sometimes you go into autopilot. So like when you're driving and you look up and you're home and you don't know how you got there, which is scary, but I have done it before. It's been a while, but I have done it before. And so it's like either your brain and your synapses are so ingrained with certain patterns that you do them automatically. So maybe you're operating on autopilot. But here's the thing that I find interesting. Most of the people who don't believe that multitasking happens are normally men. I don't know why. But then there are other studies that say potentially that women are wired differently and therefore are more capable of actually doing multitasking. Like the average woman you speak to would say that she multitasks all the time. But there will be those who say she's not really multitasking. She's processing one thing, or even as I looked up to the definition of multitask to share with you all today, they were giving the example of young people driving, young drivers, and how when they're doing more than one thing, their distraction level. So when they are, it's either texting or using the telephone, whatever at the same time, then they start taking on the habits of like an 80-year-old person driving. No offense to you 80-year-olds, I'm just sharing with you the piece of information that they gave. So as if to imply that they're not really multitasking, they're doing two things badly. Essentially, that's the gist. So I always find it an interesting conversation because depending on who you talk with, they say there is no such thing as multitasking. But the word means to do more than one thing at a time. And so that actually takes me into our time tool technique. See how we're going to flow with it. We're just going to flow with it. And so speaking of doing more than one thing at a time, I want to point out some of your technology to you to make sure you're getting like the right bang for your buck. Because right now, I need a new Mac. And if you want to give me one, you are welcome to. I need a new Mac here for the office. Like right now, this is my personal Mac laptop. I have a MacBook Pro. And so I need something that I can just leave here at the office. Okay, side note. And so one of the things you'll know whenever you're looking to purchase a computer is that they talk about the processor. And oftentimes the average computer, I believe, comes with an i3, potentially an i5, and but most of us need an i7 or whatever the next iteration is. And all that means, I mean, it sounds like, ooh, they're so smart. It's not. It means how many programs can you run at the same time. So like right now on my computer. So my computer, when it starts to slow down, the first thing I do is I look to see what do I have open, right? What's using all my computer's brain power. And so like right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 items open. And so if I had an i5 processor, then it would cause my computer to lag. And sometimes you're looking at your computer and like, why is it so slow? Because you slowed it down. It's like your brain. If you think about your computer the same way you think about your brain, you can manage so much information. It's like when I am fully focused on something, I hate for people to talk to me. So if I'm really like in the midst of some brilliant brain process going on and someone's trying to talk to me, I can't listen. I say shh. I try to say it politely, but that's really what I mean is shh. Be quiet. Which I often say because when I'm really in the focus, I'm not always like polite. Genius is happening here. No time to be polite. And so, but that's what happens. So same way it happens for your brain, it happens for your computer. So when you turn your computer on, that's why we talk about RAM and ROM, random access memory, random operating memory. I'm not going to go too deep. Don't freak out. Come back. I'm not going far. But your computer, when you turn it on, automatically brings a certain amount of information from your stored memory to like your frontal lobe of your computer. So that when you click, it doesn't have that pinwheel. It automatically opens. It automatically opens because it was already kind of halfway open already because your computer said, hey, she uses this program all the time. So whenever we turn on the computer, we're going to have these things ready for her. So when she clicks, it'll open immediately, right? And so it's the same thing for our storage and for the computer in general. So your computer has a lot of things happening as far as the processor, the memory, etc. And then, which is why one of the reasons, I've talked to you about this before, but this is my external hard drive. And so I'm a Toshiba, I am a Toshiba person. The other ones are fine, but I like Toshiba a lot. And so this one is just my 1 terabyte. And terabyte is the amount of storage that it can do. And so, like, I back my entire computer onto here. I keep 3 copies of my computer. So I do a backup. I do a backup from my computer of everything on it. And I'll have a current copy. And then I'll have like a copy that's maybe a month old. And then I'll have a copy that's a month older than that. So I have, and I mean every single file on my computer fits on here. And I keep all of my videos. So every one of these videos, it's on here. I store it elsewhere too. So just so you know. But I do protect this like my life. Plus it's tiny and small and I can take it with me wherever I'm going. And so, and it's a terabyte. And I still have 800,000 gigabytes. 800,000, right? Gigabytes, megabytes. You get the point. Figure it out. If you're trying to figure it out, it's really a system of thousands, but it's not exactly. It's not precisely 1,000. But for those of us, it's like whenever we learned problems in math in my college, everything was done to 10. But it's not that easily rounded out. So 1,024 megabytes equals 1 gig. 1,024 gigs equals 1 terabyte. So everyone talks about it in thousands. And that essentially means a terabyte can hold 250,000 pictures with a 12 megapixel camera, 250 movies, 500 hours of HD video, 6 million documents. You get the gist. Okay. So now that I've gone off into geekdom, I'm back. Hello, I'm back. All right, so just want to quickly go through because I talked about that for a pretty long time. So now let me tell you about our book it moment. And so our book it moment for this week is very special to me because it's my first ebook. It's not personal, it's business. ABCs of Professional Online Presence. Something like that. It's on Amazon, Kindle. You can Google me, Shirley Crawford, it'll come up. Or I'll probably put it up here. And so very excited. I've written multiple books. I just never bother to publish them. I distribute them. So the fact that this is my first Amazon book, I'm very excited about that. Check it out. So last week I did my first webinar on a new software. So that actually goes into my work hard, play harder moment. I'm tying it all together now. Have a little Prince moment. And so for this week in particular, I learned a new software, trained an employee. I've been doing transportation thanks to my mother because, she's in the house. I did my first webinar on the new software that I learned last weekend. I finished my ebook. It's not personal, it's business. Um, I posted it on, I learned the new Amazon system and posted it on there because when I used to use it, it was CreateSpace. Now it's Kindle Direct and blah, blah, blah. I started walking again. I just came back from a radio interview with Barry Farmer. Hi. And I got a recipe from Paleo Lemon Bars, which I'm going to go home and make in just a few minutes. Yay! Alrighty then. And so with that in mind, and so the real gist is because everyone has all this extra time, and it's not really extra, you have the same amount of time you always had, but because everyone feels like their time has been freed up because either they're working remotely, not working at all, because of things that are happening in our society right now. It's just the way that it is. I was feeling really jealous because I have not had a lot of extra time. Like this time has caused me to be a little more in demand. There are more things happening. I'm not seeing a break. And so I was feeling jealous of all of you who were on Facebook going, I'm bored. And I'm like, oh my God, what I wouldn't do to be bored or to have the time available to be bored. And so with that in mind, I was like, I am a workHARDAholic. I can make this work. So I've had some longer days because I want to have the same effect as if I had, more time. And so that's what has caused me to, like I said, learn the new software last weekend. Someone mentioned it and I was like, I'm going to learn that this weekend because that's what I used to do. And then I had the book. It was halfway done, probably a little more than halfway. And I had all the information because I've done the presentation so many times. And so that's one. I'm trying to decide how many more will I produce during this time period. I don't think I'll do one a week. I don't think so. But I could. So could you. And that's the point. When it comes to work hard, play harder, the point is you are capable, you are able, you can do all of that. As opposed to looking at our current situation and circumstances as something to be afraid of or tormented by, it's an opportunity. That's the difference in being a work-hardaholic and being an entrepreneur and being a common person. We don't do common. We don't do average. We don't do normal. I used to have a button in like middle school or high school, and it said, why be normal? There's no reason to be average. Average is C. Who needs that? I don't know. So, as we said before, go for the gold, as my pastor has been preaching about. Alrighty then. So, I'm about to check out of here. And as I always say, live better, do better, be better, and happy entrepreneuring. Ta-ta!
Because I really don't know what I would do if I didn't have some work that I had to get to.